decisions about kids when I didn't have anybody there that was only advocating for the child, not as an attorney, but as a party of the case. I mean, every other person that's not competent to represent themselves in a civil action of any kind is appointed a guardian ad litem. Now, who's more unable to represent themselves than a 3, a 4, a 5, a 10-year-old, 12-year-old child? I was faced with a case where a little 3-year-old girl had been brought to Harborview Hospital, and she said the doctor there thought that she probably suffered the injuries from child abuse and called the authorities. And the mother said, no, she fell off the swing, and anyway, my boyfriend's moved out and isn't coming back. And I looked around the courtroom because I had to make a decision at some point about whether to take a 3-year-old child out of the only home she had ever known and put her with strangers, and how would that affect her? And if I returned her home, was she really in danger? And so I looked around the courtroom, and there was really no one there who could only speak up for that child. I thought that maybe we can get volunteers who will represent these kids, train them, and ask them to represent these children in court, and get a lawyer to represent them, because they would become a party to the action representing the child, and they would have a lawyer representing them. And so I asked my bailiff to call 6 or 7 people in the community and explain this idea to them, and ask if they wanted to bring a brown bag lunch up to juvenile court and talk about it. When I walked in the lunchroom, there were 50 people there, and I said, this is going to work.
I'm connected to CASA here at Walker County. I was connected from day one. I remember a gentleman from that was a member of the city council stopped by my house, and he said, I know you're always doing things with kiddos, and they're going to be starting this new organization called CASA, and I think you'd be a good fit for it. Would you go to this information meeting? And I said, of course. So I went, and I was accepted into the first class of CASA Volunteers, of advocates, and I received the first case.
When I started in 2009, we were in a space that was not much bigger than this. There were 3 offices and a tiny little hallway, and we shared the space with an accountant. I used to have to meet my families, my CPS workers at McDonald's. The CPS office was in a tiny little space in the basement of the Jacinto County Courthouse.
When I very first started with CASA, I was the only full-time employee on staff. We had 3 part-time staff people at that time. To see us to go from sort of that to like we are struggling to keep our office like staffed, because our staff is so busy with even just 5 full-time staff. When I started with CASA, there were no really major fundraising events that CASA hosted, and so to see no events in 2016 to having events at the level of Christmas and July bingo and parade of playhouses, and I mean the new All About Kids Expo, like it's just so much fun to be out in the community now and being a part of it in a new, different way, not just about the fundraising, but just opportunities to tell 500 people at one time, this is what we do.
When you're dealing with children, it's children that have experienced some level of trauma, either in the home or by the very nature of being removed from the family. Combination of both a lot of times. So they're experiencing complete change and upheaval in their life. And when they have an advocate, the advocate is somebody that they look forward to every single month to talk to, go out and eat. It's some level of consistency for these children.
Probably the most influential thing that I can say about a CASA's influence, especially for a child, actually came from a child. I was told by a young girl who had been in the foster system for quite some period of time that the CASA, I mean, this is what she said, the CASA is the only one that's not paid to come talk to me. And so having a child understand that the CASA is there because they care about that child is absolutely invaluable.
Describe your CASA advocate. Oh, words cannot express. Words cannot express. I initially started working with Alzheimer's patients at a retirement home, and once I finished working there, I still wanted to do more. So my husband and I decided to foster. I received my child when he was 2 years old, and something happened at my agency where he was removed from my home. Miss Sharon is the best. Miss Sharon was sent for me. She was sent for. When I would see her, it would give me motivation and encouragement to keep fighting for him. So when I got to court to see her, and she would look over and just shake her head, yeah, it gave me encouragement and motivation. At the court hearing, I think I hugged Miss Sharon harder than I did my husband. I was so happy. I felt bad. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. But she felt my emotion. We could feel it like transfer. CASA's wonderful. Miss Sharon's wonderful.
It was a little bit of, well, not even a little bit of confusion. There was a lot of confusion because it was during COVID. My daughter made some very poor choices. So I was in the balance of trying to keep my children or my grandchildren from going away forever and being split up. I had 4. And then also trying to save my daughter. So it was very hard while not trying to connect the two. It was wonderful having the CASA advocate. Even though she was there for the kids, she made sure that our questions were answered. It didn't take long for her to feel more like a part of the family. The kids didn't feel like they were under a microscope or anything like that. They were very comfortable. They looked very forward to her meetings. She brought them something, was always bringing them something, and they thought that was just the grandest thing.
They're doing something that not everybody can do, and for that, I think the society should be eternally grateful for their service to the people that need to have a voice and can't.
It's such an incredible honor to be part of CASA, and it's been just an amazing experience, an amazing group of people.
I will say of all the nonprofit organizations that I've ever worked with, our CASA staff and support that we got from the hands-on work from every person in the administration building was incredible.
My hope for the future, in some ways, is just to keep doing what we're doing. We have an amazing group of advocates, and over the years, that group of faces changes, but the work that they do never does. It's always, they're never settle. They fight for the best of the interests of the child, and they don't give up, and it's beautiful to see, and I hope that continues.
My hope for CASA is they don't give up. They don't lose hope in the system. They don't lose hope in the ever-changing caseworkers and the ever-changing landscape of is it a state system or is it a managed care system? My hope is that they will always just continue to be centered on those kids and what's in those kids' best interest. That's the best we can hope for the future of DFPS cases, is that CASA will always be there.
What I really hope is that our legislators take the opportunity to listen to us and understand truly what we do. And I just want them to take the time to understand that there's a possibility that we're losing some kids out there, and there's some kids out there being harmed because of the decisions that they made. And hopefully they'll come full circle and address those consequences and let us be a part of helping with that.
If anyone out there has that time, I say definitely go to this program because they can benefit someone. And it's just, I don't know, it's almost something that it's hard to even speak about it. It makes me very emotional.
You need a village when you're raising kids. They need something stable. They need somebody that they know to make them feel comfortable. And that's what CASA did for me and my family.
If I could describe CASA in one word, it would be hope. Hope that there's a new beginning for these kiddos. Hope that there's a better future for them. Hope that there's people out there that really do care about them and show them what love is.